Yeah, so here we go again. It's a bit soon after the last session, I guess. I did do it once before with 2 sessions in one day, and then recently with session 108, I didn't add end to them. So I guess it's not too odd after all. It's golden hour, pretty nice. I'm halting in a spot I usually wouldn't because right next to me, well, opposite side of the road, there's a yard for big lorries. I think it's like metalworks or so. And I'd be blocking their driveway for big lorries, but it's 8 p.m. and there doesn't appear to be any operations, so I'm not too fussed about it. As I'm doing one of these again, and even I myself am saying again, I should have realised earlier when I said, oh, I got to go get milk later. But I've been shopping, so this is the obligatory session after, I guess. Spent 40 some euro, got 14 litres of milk, and 2/3 a litre of coca. So I reckon that should last me like solid 7-8 days, which make it less than a kebab per day in groceries. Then again, I am currently eating a lot of pasta and so on. I did buy some more eggs and some more cheese. Cheese is some of the fancy shit I've ordered, I guess. Got myself some nice cheese because one needs some stuff. And I got some sweets because I'm not fat enough already, you know. You know how it is. Had a really good time with my shoot earlier. Well, it wasn't my shoot, with the shoot earlier. Did a solid job, of course. Why would I not, you know? Had a good time doing that. Like, that was nice. Particularly as today I was a department, or I was catering to a department. I was the department theoretically, but that's not how it works really. I'm most comfortable with, so I did the gaffing, the lighting, which in the uni studio means primarily just control the DMX mixer, which is either an analog or digital. I think it's a digital with analog inputs, so that's something. It's not an iPad with blackout on it or so. I guess it's fancier than that in some ways, but it's more limiting in many other ways. And use one movable spot. The thing is, a movable spot I'd requested a lowboy for end of last week. The person booking did not book the lowboy, and by the time we got to film today, the lowboy was no longer available. It's actually not a lowboy, it's a mini lowboy, but still something to use a light from a low position with. End up using a steel on wheels, which I guess worked. And for the last shot, I actually used a turtle base C-stand, because I did realise while we were shooting there was not actually a stair leg on the C-stand, it was a turtle base, which one just as well might use as a ground tripod. So work, I guess. After I helped, I don't want to say my tea dealer move a Life Edge board for like a workstation or so. I'm not sure what they plan on doing it with it for, but it's in the seminar room for now. So their new shop is, well, their new shop, I guess it is a shop. Their new establishment is probably double the size of the old one, but is also more expensive in rent, so they're going to have to sublet some things for events and so on. But I am really looking forward to it, like us. And with them having a couple of seminar rooms now, odds are I might actually be able to screen there, because I've been looking for a place to screen my film. Very limited, just for people who made it, or a few people who, I don't know, get special invitations or pay loads of money, I guess, because it's going to cost money to screen it. So haven't actually figured out the economic viability, but realistically, if I do sell tickets, I'm going to have to charge like high double digits for a ticket, which I don't think is worth, but we'll see. I'll probably have to do it in a Kickstarter model of, yes, I'd like to sign up for this price at a to be determined future date. And I don't know if I'll do that, but probably not before my thesis film's due. So I won't be starting that before August. Because on the 12th of August I have to defend my thesis, and then I'm done. Mm. With a thesis, I'm figuring more and more I'll do the modern Renaissance or today's Renaissance in video art. Uh, I mean, there is no arguing against us being in a Renaissance with video art, considering 100 years ago it wasn't possible. And these days we have it in many a form, interactive or not. It's just crazy, I guess. But I think I'll write on that. I just got to do bit more pre-research. And then I got to ask my prof and another person for doing the examining on it. Get their blessing on the subject. Well, my prof's blessing, particularly. And then I'll be busy writing my thesis for quite a while and researching. As far as I understand, I'm going to have to average a page a day, including weekends, including proofreading. Which means I'll have to write like 3 pages a day for the time I'm writing, because I'll have to do days of just research and days of just proofreading. Because 40 pages is a lot. It's going to take like half a day to properly proofread. Making sure there's no double spaces, or there is double spaces depending on how I choose to do it. I might do double space after full stops, because we have page minimums, so and there is arguments for it, which I don't disagree with. Might as well try, you know. I'll most certainly write in English, because my examiners will most certainly have the primary language of German, which means if I do it in English, I have an advantage over them. If I do it in German, we're on even foot and I actually have to do the work. Funny how that works. I currently do not have any plans for tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to. I think I'll actually not sleep in, but stay in bed after waking up at 6 in the AM. And have tomorrow as a null day, a day in limbo. I'd love to be productive, but I just don't think it's going to happen, so it's not even worth trying, I guess. That's a defeatist mindset. Wow. I guess I should try, but I don't want to lie to myself, and I don't think it's going to happen, so I'm not even going to try. Monday I'll have uni. Sunday I got a film club. I'm probably going to unlock the doors again, because I might as well. And I will be screening the first 5, 7, 8 minutes, who knows, of 20.24, formerly known as Working Title Smoke and Mirrors. Just because I've kept these people updated throughout the process. Might as well show them what I got. I haven't actually got the license agreement from the composer yet. They've assured me they'll send it soon enough and that I don't have to remind them again. So I think I'll give them to like the end of the month, and then I'll ask them where that is, because I'll want it eventually. It's not written by a lawyer, it's only half page, but I reckon it's pretty clear. I get the exclusive motion picture rights for the score, the soundtrack by this artist composed herefore. For that, they get like 3 or 5 or 7 minutes of my video after a year's time of original agreement. They can use that for their purposes, and I can use a score for motion picture exclusive licensing deal, unpaid. Ooh. Then again, I'm not a lawyer, but it's more than I learnt in uni, and that's even though I've done the course, already passed the course that would include licensing, but didn't. Media law. What did we do? Oh yeah, how do you found a limited company? And what's like being self-employed? Because that's all media people are good for. Then again, I shouldn't be upset. I'm not upset. Because in the end of the day, once you don't do it in the first couple of semesters, it's pretty evident you aren't going to do it in a timely fashion. Because you should really do it before you do your first film project. Nah. What even is copyright? Yeah, I only spent $40, 40 some bucks shopping, and half of that by money was milk. Another third was cheese, and another quarter. So the last quarter would have been like some bread and some eggs and a couple of drinks, and that's all I got, because I got pasta at home. One thing I haven't understood to this day, but I'll figure out eventually, is why some people with doing their slate do sound second and camera first. Because obviously these days it doesn't really matter, besides the fact that camera still takes exorbitantly more space to store. But at least historically, film was hella more expensive than tape. Just saying, you know. And I guess these days it is theoretically still more expensive with camera runtime, just because you have to have the storage for the stuff, and someone has to cut it off. Nah, I'm pretty sure a good editor can probably find the in points no problem pretty quick. Scroll and click on the timeline. Just previews do the job. You see the slate, you cut there. That's your in. Yeah, so I would like to hope I'll play some video games when I get home, but I don't feel I'm much in the mood. I did manage to play some video games yesterday or day before, whenever I last, it must have been the day before, I don't know, whenever I last mentioned, and I actually managed to play a decent amount of video games, which I was real happy about, and I had a good time doing it, which is the point of video games. There's no point playing them if you aren't having fun, you know. Yeah, that was a pleasant thing, but I don't think I'll do it tonight. I'm too low on energy. With the set work, even though it's departmentalized, or supposed to be, I do aid all the other departments just because I got the skills. I might as well train others. Because well-trained others make life easier for future everyone. And I'm there anyways. What's the point in sitting on my phone in the corner? As plenty of people do while driving in the city, which I still find crazy. Yeah, okay, it has reached a point of inflation where if I can confidently pull the handbrake, as to if the person in front had dodgy brake lights or rear lights, I'd get out and tell them. I do sometimes put in neutral, pull the handbrake, and just change something on the phone next song or so. But next song I usually use stereo for anyways, so nah. Make sure I haven't got on the message. Like earlier today, I knew it was going to be a 1 minute cycle and it just turned red. So I actually sent a message, I will be up to 15 minutes late. Well, not 15 minutes early, as I said earlier, I might be. Which I guess is a funny way of putting it. Because I was still not late. I was still early, but not early by as much as I predicted. So I don't think anyone can complain about that. But I feel dodgy about operating the phone even in halted traffic, even with a handbrake pulled. Just because, hell, I mean, it's a fucking computer. You don't need to spend all the time on it, you know. While you're driving, look at the road, man. Like, yeah, okay, with lights, if you know the cycle and you know you got a long time, and you are aware of what's behind you and that there's no ambulance, etc. coming, alright, I guess it could be worse. And I believe in that case it's not even illegal. At least if I'm not holding a phone, which I'm of course not, because hell, I am speaking in my phone right now and it's mounted here in the car using MagSafe technology. So now it's actually charging. Now it's no longer charging. It's magic. I just have this. There we go. I have this little switch here, which leads to a 12-volt multi-socket, which I toggle from my GPS tachometer. Chinesium, 25 euros, but I trust it more than I do the Volkswagen inbuilt one, because the Chinesium one actually shows your speed according to GPS, so with a time delay. At least it doesn't show like up to 10% under, you know. And I have the charging leads for this lav mic on that, and the MagSafe, and that's all. So 3 USB devices, and I'm not actually using any of the 12-volt sockets. Yeah, I'm not, which is kind of odd, but I guess you don't need 12-volt if everything works on 5-volt, you know. Oddly enough, this lav mic, the receiver and the transmitter, both are USB-C, but the cable that came with it was USB-A to C, so it's 5-volt anyway. And the MagSafes, I believe, limited just by sheer wattage. I don't think input more than 5 volts is going to do much, even though it do also have USB. I don't think it have USB PD. Not police department, but power delivery. Yeah, so sun is setting. We're about to get into blue hour. Magical. I believe that's all I got to say for now. Oh yeah, no, it's not. Haha. Reason I'm doing this here now, even though I did one earlier and I didn't feel any special need to sit down and talk after shopping. So I believe it's important to force myself to do this after shopping, because though it may not seem like it, at times this can be hard for me to do. And if I just do it as a structural element, I've been grocery shopping, I talk to myself. I believe it's more redundant of a system. I'm more likely to do it, which means it's good for my mental health. And as long as I got the time, I might as well, you know, when I go home, I'm just going to go to bed. So, it's 2 birds with 1 stone, or 3 birds, I guess. If there's any birders among you, don't worry, the birds were all figurative. Yeah, I now know where my teamen live. My teamen. The teamen I frequent. The teaman I frequent. Or whose establishments I frequent. There we go. They are a fairly private person, but they didn't mind showing me, presumably because they know me well enough by now. They said I hadn't changed, and they were not surprised by it, though we haven't seen each other in nearing half a year. Actually, it's pretty darn nearing half a year. Bloody hell. In 6 days it would have been half a year. Whew. I guess in some ways odd for me to say this of a person that's more than double my age, but I am oddly proud of them for what they've done with the new place. I don't think it's my position to be proud, due to my being significantly younger, to the point where I could no problem be their son. Or child. But I am still really rather proud of what they managed to do, man. Like, good job. You know who you are. It's not like you watchies. You don't like English. And then again, wir sind in Deutschland, also kann man auch Deutsch reden. Aber das hier is the internet, so I might as well speak English. And for me, it comes just as easy as the German language. More people can understand it. More people could have heard it and understood it, so might as well, you know. Don't come in at any extra expense. I'll probably just call this bin to the shops. Half my budget on milk. Ha! Anyways, I hope you can be enthusiastic about spending half your budget on something you frequently consume in abundant amounts. Stay safe. Cheerio.